Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Wall.
So good to have you with us. It is live and local for a Wednesday. We have been checking in with potential candidates for Assembly and State Senate over the course of the last couple of months. Folks are getting an early start on campaigns. One of those is Rafael Arroyo, a candidate for Assembly District 41. This is not his first rodeo. He's done this before, and he joins us again. Rafael, how you doing, my friend?
Excellent, Kevin. Thanks for having me on.
Like I say, this is not your first rodeo, and you have experience in running for public office. Talk a little bit about that first experience, what you learned from it.
Well, it was an enlightening experience, especially going up against my opponent, who was the majority leader at the time. And what you realize is, these lobbyists, special interests, people are really scared to go up against the majority leader. So it was really kind of a bootstraps kind of campaign. I did have the honor to be endorsed by Governor Lombardo last cycle, and that really helped with some fundraising because a lot of people see the job that he's doing. And so, that was beneficial, but it was a struggle to go up against a powerhouse like the majority leader, but I did get very, very close.
I want to ask you, the issues back then, the issues today in 41, are they the same?
Of course. Yeah, it's the exact same. It's crime. It's affordability, cost of living. It's education. I mean, these are the main issues that people are concerned about because these are the things that affect your everyday lives. And what people were telling me is that they don't want to go to the store and have every single product behind glass, right? That's a sign of a decaying society, and that's not where people want to live. That's not the American dream.
Reintroduce yourself. You've been on the show before. People have followed your campaign before, but reintroduce yourself. Give us your personal story.
I was born in Puerto Rico, and I moved to Las Vegas when I was 6 years old and went to school out here, went to Rancho High School, and graduated, went to UNLV for a semester. Wasn't for me, and I started my own business at 23 years old. So I've had that business for 17, going on 18 years now next year, and I've achieved the American dream, right? I built up from nothing to something. My company's called Smog Plus DMV Services. We do emissions testing, auto repair, and registration services, and that's where I got my first introduction to government was working with a state agency like the DMV every day and seeing that the inefficiency, right? Seeing where things could be improved, and then having to deal with getting legislation passed. Because they were trying to shut down the industry about 7 years ago.
Tell me what the issues are that you have talked to a lot of voters already. Tell me what the voters are thinking. What is it? Is it still going to be crime? Anything else? Education? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, it's affordability. I mean, obviously right now you have with the government shut down, you have a lot of people that are on government assistance that are concerned about that. And I think that's something that does need to be looked at. But what we also have to look at is abuse. And there is a lot of abuse of these programs. And so that's where the government has to come in and hold people accountable and say, hey, if you're going to be using this this is for help. This is not supposed to be a lifetime thing. Like, we're supposed to get you out of this situation so you can go out and live that American dream.
You mentioned the governor. Your thoughts on the special session that are coming up. We don't know exactly when it's going to be. It's going to be here in November. We just don't know precisely when. You have any ideas?
I mean, it's got to be, maybe not next week, but probably the following week after that is what I've heard. And hopefully, hopefully the crime bill that he tried to get through will be on the agenda. I mean, he has a lot of things that he wants to get accomplished. And I definitely support that because that's something we need to hold, criminals accountable. And that's going to really change the fabric of our society if we can do that.
Rafael, I think it's interesting that the governor has now had 2 sessions to deal with the Democrats. How's he done so far?
I mean, he's done what he can do, and it's going to take people to come out and vote and get out there and show up because there's still a lot of registered Republicans that stay home, right? And so he needs that support. People need to turn out in order to even the things in the legislature, because all he can do right now is be a kind of a stopper. I'm going to stop bad things from happening. But as he said many times, that's not good government. That's a waste of time. Like we're sitting here, there are bills that are being proposed and voted out of both houses that have no shot of ever passing, and we're spending hearing time on that. We're going back and forth just so that people can have something to talk about in their campaigns, and that's just bad government. So people got to get involved, and you got to turn out the vote so you can even the legislature, and that way things can actually get done.
Okay, you go from a race where you were dangerously close to becoming a member of the Assembly. Now you are the front runner. Explain what's different. What did you learn from that first try?
Well, it just took a lot of, hitting the ground, talking to voters, listening to what the actual issues are and trying to focus on that. Now what's changed that I'm the favorite is that people are picking up the phone. Right? You call somebody now, and now they want to have a conversation because there's not this looming doom impending over them that they're not going to get their bills passed because you're going up against the majority leader. So now that it's an open seat, a lot of people are picking up the phone and they're saying, yeah, we want to sit down with you and see what your views are and see if they align and see if we can support you.
You mentioned the governor, and we talked about the governor. Will you seek another endorsement from the governor?
I would hope so, but I mean, it's going to be his decision. I'm sure he's going to have a process that I'll have to go through just like everyone else, and hopefully I can still earn that honor.
And just as far as the election itself, are you convinced that the integrity of the vote is intact? I've had a lot of people doing what you're doing, and they question whether they can get a fair shot at this thing. You lost by 200 some odd votes?
It was 257 votes. What I would say is this: it's still about voting. You have to understand that the Democratic Party has a very well organized get out the vote machine, and so that's something that Governor Lombardo has been trying to build here in Nevada, kind of like the Harry Reid machine of back in the day. And so that needs to happen. People actually have to get out there and do it and vote. And then once you vote and win, then you can change the laws. Right, because right now you can't change anything. You can complain as much as you want, but you can get out there and vote for question 7, right? To require IDs for voting.
Yeah,
that's on the ballot
ID.
again. So you can get out there and vote for that, and that's going to fix a lot of doubts that people have. But I don't think that there's a lot of. It doesn't serve anybody to just complain without having, real 100% proof. It just doesn't help us.
Okay, want to talk about what's at stake. A lot of people in the elections last night in New Jersey and Virginia and New York City, we talked about how Republicans, they didn't really turn out the way they would have in a presidential election with Trump on the ballot. Can you talk a little bit about why turnout is going to be vitally important in your race? And essentially why it's important in general, why get out the vote is so vitally important.
Well, just because, a Republican president won, that doesn't mean that government stops and it's over, right? The game, it's a long process, and the House, federally is very, very close. And here in Nevada, I mean, we have a very, very slim stop to the supermajority of Democrats. And so without that, they're going to be able to override the governor's veto and turn Nevada into California 100%. So you have to get out and vote. The battle is not over. The war is not won. You have to get involved. You have to get out and vote and get more Republicans across the finish line and flip these seats.
Does it bother you that most people don't know who their assemblyman is? Or where their district is, what district is 41 and which is 12? Does that bother you as a guy that's been in the arena?
No, because that's normal, right? I didn't know either. When I was just, trying to run my business, I wasn't paying attention either. And what usually happens is you have to realize that the government will affect you. right? One day or another, the government is going to come for you and it's going to affect you. And I think everyone was affected during the shutdown. You saw what government can do by shutting down the entire state during COVID. So I think that woke a lot of people up to say, okay, well, I got to really kind of pay attention to some of this politics stuff because it does matter. And so I don't blame people, but what I would say is we need to do our part to educate others to say, look, if you're not politically involved, it's going to come for you and it's going to be too late. And you're going to be, you and your family and your future here is going to be affected by bad policy if you don't get involved now.
Okay, so where is District 41?
So District 41 is on the south side of town. It's in the Enterprise area by the South Point. So Las Vegas Boulevard is the western border. Windmill is the northern border. The eastern border is Maryland Parkway, and it's pretty rectangular. Goes all the way back to the M Resort. Covers a little bit of Henderson Airport, and some of Seven Hills.
I know a lot of people are saying, man, it's awfully early for the primary. And by the way, do you have a primary opponent?
As of right now, no.
Knock on wood.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. What is it that your campaign needs right now today?
I think we just need people to get involved. You can go to the campaign website, RafaelArroyoForAssembly.com. You can go to my X account, Rafael Arroyo NV, or my Instagram. Just follow, just pay attention, sign up for the emails. Obviously financial support is always appreciated, but it's going to take manpower to get people out to vote in that area. So if you can take a look at me and say, hey, I agree with this guy. I kind of follow what he's doing and I think he can get something done, then, come join the team and we can get some work done.
Rafael, it's good to have you in studio again. Thank you so much, my friend. Best of luck. Be safe out on the campaign trail, and we'll talk with you again soon.
Excellent, Kevin. Thank you.
There you have it. Rafael Arroyo, great personal story, and a guy that I think is going to be the next assemblyman from District 41. I really believe that. Stick around. More to do as we continue on AM 670 KMZQ.